Hi everyone, my name is Kyle Lyon, pre-sales engineer here at Solutions PT. And in today's episode of Tech Bytes, we're again following on from our overview of the different insight analytics packages. And today we're going to be zooming in on guided analytics. So the point of guided analytics, as we went over in the overview video, is to look more towards a predictive maintenance strategy by providing early warnings of anomalies that might represent performance degradation, production issues, or other conditions that are useful to track and understand. Where condition-based rules that we went over in the previous Tech Bytes are about identifying known conditions and setting rules based on them, with guided analytics we're aiming to actually find out these conditions. Using supervised machine learning within Insight, we can create intelligent models that understand what the normal operation conditions are and provide an understanding of how current behavior matches or diverges from this. Creating a model is very simple, and we'll go over the basics today. I'm going to head into my Insight solution here. And first of all, we need to go to an asset that we want to create the model for. This could be a piece of equipment, a production line, or even an entire site. So long as it exists inside Insight's asset hierarchy, we can actually create a model based on it. So for this, I'm going to take storage tank 1. Once we're in the asset page, we go to the top right and select asset actions. Under here, I can create a journal entry, add an alert, or add a guided analytics model. Once this loads up, we're in the guided analytics model wizard. From within here, we can select a number of tags to use for this model. So by default, we can only see the tags that are associated with this asset, but we can toggle this off by selecting search all tags available. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to select 5 pieces of information. So I'm going to look for the beer process value. I'm going to look for a level process value. I'm going to look for quantity, state, and status. I'm going to add these to the model. That's step 1 done. Next, we go to configure parameters. From here, we can define a name for this model that it makes sense to us, and select a training window for the model to be generated from. You can select the last 3 months, the last month, the last week, or define a custom range, so long as that custom range is a minimum of 7 days. The effectiveness of the model, obviously, is dependent on the quality of the training data provided. So you need to ensure that the time period you select includes only in-range values for the selected tags to get an accurate representation of ideal conditions. Naturally, we don't want any extraneous data in there polluting the model and diverting it away from what we believe is good quality production. Next up, we have filters, which allow you to define conditions that indicate to the model when the asset or process is not running. This can be a string, a discrete, or an analog tag, and just indicates where this model isn't applicable. So if we get tags flatlining because we're not actually producing, this model isn't going to generate any alerts because it knows that we're currently, for example, not producing. Then we move on to operational mode indicators. These identify the current operational mode or batch, and it will be an integer or a string tag. And it cannot be included in our initial tag set as well. It needs to be separate from the model. An example of this could be capturing the amount of power being delivered to the asset. By using this as an indicator, the model can account for deviations such as temperature spikes or increased fan speeds based on operating at a full power operation. Another use is we can indicate which batch process an asset is set for and account for deviations between those processing jobs. Once we've selected all the mandatory items and maybe added in our optional items like the filters and mode indicators, we can see a summary of the model we've created, and we can select save to begin generating that model. So I'm not going to generate this one because I've just left it blank for the purposes of showing it through the wizard. But what we do have is a selection of pre-made ones within this demo. So once a model is generated, what happens under the hood is Insight creates a new tag under the asset, which tracks an anomaly score. And this is a score from 0 to 100. 0 meaning that the tags that you selected are exactly matching with the data available in the training set. So it's performing exactly as the model has been trained to detect. 100 means it's wildly deviated from that. So a newsfeed item, such as the one you're seeing here, is generated anytime that anomaly score is above 85. But since the anomaly score becomes a tag, we can use things like the condition-based alerts to alert on when that model deviation happens at, say, 50. So scrolling down to a good example of what this looks like, we can see here we've got an anomaly score of 100 on a motor. We've got 3 different contributing factors here. So I'm going to use the feature of the newsfeed where I can have a little textual description of what's happening with the model and what it's detected. As we can see here, the current average is contribution score of 100, so it's contributed to the overall anomaly detection at a very high rate, and the tag has a higher variation than usual. And the same is true for the other 2 tags as well. We find out when this anomaly was detected, and if we click onto the actual news item, we're taken to a chart of these values that we're looking at, and we can see by clicking on here that very same anomaly detection. So hopefully that's helped you understand how to create a guided analytics model, what they're used for, and what you get from them within Insight. Naturally, these things can be alerted on, provided to mobile users, provided within the desktop for granular analysis like you're seeing here, and various things like that. If you're interested at all in AVEVA Insight, or you'd like a more tailored demo or discussion around it, please do feel free to get in touch with Solutions PT at the links below. And thank you for watching.